Alright, greetings everyone. Sorry this is taking so long. Jay the Caffeinator here, getting ready to build the leftovers PC for my brother-in-law. So, we all talk about how things roll downhill. So, this is all my leftovers, plus maybe a couple of other things for building this PC. So, leftover-wise, we have Ryzen 5, getting into focus, there we go, 3600, not an X, but doesn't matter. I have, inside that will be the ASRock Gaming, or B550 Phantom Gaming IXT case, or motherboard. Oh, jeez. Inside of that, along with the GPU, we have a leftover RTX 3060, used to be my daughter's. For power supply is the other that I have. No, it is not the Superflower 1000 watt Lidix. It is a Corsair RM, can I get to it? 550X. So 550 watts for that. So that should be enough for the leftovers. So in order to finish it, I picked up from Micro Center the Lee & Landcool 205 mesh in white. This is the first white build I've ever done. Pairing with the other items will be DDR4 Ripjaws 5. It is a 32 gig kit, CL18. Surprisingly, that was cheaper, which is fine. They don't have very much to go on. Hard drive is going to be a 1 terabyte Inland QN 450. And for air cooler, I decided to get the cheapest one on the market, the ID Cooling SE214XT, which is hailed quite well as one of the cheapest air coolers on the bunch. I have a V-True V5, however that is black. I decided to go with this white, and the fact that this air cooler is only $18 on Amazon, so far that has worked for me. So that's all of those. Let me take a pause. Okay, back to the one-handed action. Let's see if we can. Oh boy, yeah, this is typical. So, I'm not sure about everybody else, but for me, I have always, whatever leftovers for the computer, all go in the motherboard box. Ooh, what else is left under here? The manual. Now, everybody else, yes, they always flipped over, sorry. Yep, they all don't follow the manual, anything like that. For me, I've always used it because, you know, there's nothing wrong. Just read the fucking manual. Literally, the only manuals you need or directions are the motherboard box. There's the specs. But, right, it will actually give you, if I can get back into English, but it will tell you how to install everything on the motherboard. And in the case's manual will tell you how to install everything in the case. So, yes, I understand. Follow up with YouTube in order to keep putting together other, in order to build your case, make it easier, and watch someone and copy their actions. But, you know, back in 1994 when I started, that didn't exist. So all we had was the manual. Okay, so far this is how we're going. 3600 XT is mounted. I've got the 32 gigs of RAM. 1 terabyte hard drive is underneath there. Matter of fact, you can see, yep, there's a hole missing right there, because as soon as I pulled out the screw, even though it was stuck to a magnetic screwdriver there, yeah, the one from LTT, but I haven't gotten rid of it. I dropped it. No idea where, but it fell. But luckily it's just the one screw and it's only for the heatsink, so we should be okay. I know, you guys can roast me up in the comments section. That's fine. Alright, time to get... Oh, I busted out the ID cooling cooler. This looks really nice, actually, with the 4 heat pipes, little curve. Alright, small update. They give you this small little thing of thermal grease. What happens? Of course, I got some on my finger, but there's the application. That should work fairly well. Just wipe it off on here for now. And that's about ready to go in. Obviously I need to remove that before it goes down. I just wanted to show kind of quickly beforehand the fact that yeah, we're making progress. Okay, here's the ID cooling. You can see the heat pipes on that. Not too bad. Reminds me a lot of the V-True V5. So we'll try and get this on here. I apologize, I know my desk is a mess, and I actually planned on doing this with something else, but so be it. It kind of, it's almost kind of in there. I've got to pause this. Alright, let's try this again. Now, I know, I'm not sure how some people are, but at least in my Navy times, we only do, you know, a couple of flats on each side. It's really hard trying to do it one-handed and see myself. You know, because if you put too much pressure, obviously it can crack, but well. Obviously I'll keep going until she stops. Alright, you guys get the picture. She's almost done. Here's what it's going to look like from the top, but we'll move it into the case here fairly shortly. So one other thing I just wanted to show, this is the single fan that comes with the ID cooler. These have rubber isolators on the exhaust side, so that should be kind of cool and nice to keep it up against the fan. Give it a little bit of cushion there. Nice job. God, how do they do it for such a cheap cost? I wonder what's going on. Okay, I'm about to go on there, but I need to talk about one other thing that ID cooling does really cool. The freaking clips are already moved, so you can put them in place and they'll hold there while you get it in place. Dude, this is awesome sauce. I don't care who you are. Okay, I've got the Landcool 205 micro tower mesh in white, unboxed. Took a little bit. So what I find cool is that, let's see if I can actually do this. It may show up. I have Landcool 2 performance mesh, mostly all black. Let's see here. Can I? Oh. Move those out of the way. Oh, I know, it's terrible. Alright, open that up. There we go. I know it's dusty, but still working on my experiment for my Arctic 2 360 freezer cooler. We've got new fans for that, plus my rip jaws, the MSI Gaming X Trio RX 6700 XT, or 6750 XT, thanks to Paul's Hardware. Appreciate that, Paul. So, I am a fan of this platform already. So, let's see how long it takes to get that. Whoop. Sorry about that. How about that and those all into slow pan into that. Wish me luck. Okay, now I've got the sides off. Went ahead and got the box that comes with the case with the extra screws. One other thing, besides the thank you note, that I thought kind of caught my eye. I'll just get it out of the way. It has these little extra dividers so you can slot them in and put whatever other screws you're missing. So cool. Now I just wish I knew where I put the screws that were supposed to be in the motherboard box. Okay, I know I still haven't put it in there, but I need to show one thing. And I'm so glad Lean Lee for a Nice Premium has done this. It is now, the front panel connector is one piece, not multiple strands. Glad to see more cases become this. Back in the 90s, they would come with a converter block, but most of those cases were almost $100, which was a little bit more back then. So it's really nice to see that coming back around. Alright, here we're getting ready to put the motherboard in. It's a little dark in there. I don't have the greatest of lights. So I got my Braun 2350 light and power bank. Review for that will be coming soon. But it does light it up a bit, wouldn't you say? Okay, looking at it upside down, but still. Just got to get ready to wire everything into the motherboard. There we go, that's probably a little bit better. So, decided to put the fan on the CPU cooler for exhaust, since there's no fan in the back for the case, but there are two up front. So, alright, on to the next part. Okay, getting closer. She's almost in. There's a lot of gap, obviously, where the board is. I had to do some funky wiring. This is the front panel header, and then this is one of the front fans. But I couldn't bend it under where the video card is going to go there, which would be my normal spot. So currently they're sitting above where it is. So we'll get the 3060 mounted and then go from there. Okay, so she's in. GPU is in, locked. Took a second because it hooked on something. I will plug it in here in just a minute, and then obviously we're going to manage up some cables. And then obviously keeping the sides off, we'll fire it up and see if she actually works for the first time. Fingers crossed. Okay, small update. I plugged in, it has power, I have no video. I completely forgot to think last time. This is why I replaced the motherboard with a different one for my daughter. I know the GPU works, CPU works, I know that. Whatever else happened when I plugged in, my mouse worked, but it would not recognize my keyboard. So I'm just going to go on. Haven't figured out which yet. Probably not these A520s, but looking at a B550. Let's see if I can jump back over here. So PC part picker. Shot over to this. I can have it tomorrow. That's what I may wind up doing. So just small updates as I string all these together. Alright folks, here it is. We fast forward 2 days? No, 3 days I think. It's been 72 hours. So I've taken this apart. Hard drive, CPU cooler, sorry. Yeah, I put this new CPU over there and it has come apart. Let me see if I can slow span this. So, picked up the MSI Pro B550 Micro. We will keep our fingers crossed and see. This one wasn't too expensive. So, let's see another new part into the, quote, leftovers. Alright, I'll see you on the other side when it's in. So, got the memory in, CPU cooler on, CPU installed, also the SSD over there in slot 1. I have the backplate already installed, plus the extra screws moving this from ITX to micro. Those are all installed. As in terms of the backplate, wow, it's been a while since I've had this kind of backplate to put on. Lately I've been bougie or whatever, but I've been all my motherboards have had pre-installed backplate or IO plates. So guess we'll see. Also changed my lighting a little bit, added one little extra lamp, and then my Braun light, slowly go up to it, is up there on the shelving unit. So alright, here we go. Okay, another small step. It is placed in the IO shield. It actually, surprisingly, there's a bit more room for putting that screw in. Normally that's always the tightest one. I hate it. And I have to use my iFixit extender kit in order to get there, but yes, it is in. And I started to realize after I was panning stuff, like, I do have a lot of Gamers Nexus merchandise. Yes, I enjoy their engineering content. Now, granted, it's not totally the end. I still have some Paul's Hardware stuff. Paul takes care of me. Well, not takes care of me. It just happened to be, there's a Be Quiet computer. Just, yeah, still there. Sad. Feel sad. Hasn't been turned on in a couple years. I feel terrible about it. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. But back to the leftovers PC. We can discuss other stuff later. So we'll go in from here. Put a little bit, there's some extra light. That way we can get in there. Alright, time to line up some holes. Okay, screws are all in. Yep, I got all, let's see here, that's 6, 7, 8. It's funny how it's just 7 on a micro. Or sorry, 8 on a micro, 4 on an ITX, 8 on a micro, and 9 on an ATX. Standard. Absolutely crazy. I do have to admit I like the spacing a lot more up here in this corner, because normally that screw is really, really hard to get to. But, I mean, this time it was really easy in this Landcool 205. That one down there, yeah, that took a little bit more. The old LTT screwdriver didn't Didn't fit, or it was on a canted angle. So, oh well. All right, time for CPU cooler fan, and let's wire it up. Oh yeah, and install the GPU. Turn that off for a second. Yay! Actually into the BIOS. Some things are recognized. And yay, and the RGBs, which, you know, kids really care about. So, I've got it kind of disconnected. Yep, not really the easiest looking of things, but yep, now we're going to go in and let's see here, slowly walk back over this way as we keep our focus there. And let's see here, we have into the screen. Okay, CPU speed 3.6, DDR obviously still where it is. Storage, yep, and it sees just the one. Everybody calls. Okay, so storage is there. Memory. Let's see here. Yep. I like how it says. I like how it's got the 2 and then saying, oh yeah, hey, these are empty. Just FYI. And then these are our XMP profiles if you want to put them on, which of course I will. So I'm going to go mess with this and get it inside and Windows installed before we do the cable management. Yay! Alright folks, there she is, complete. I just have to update the drivers in the BIOS. The BIOS for this motherboard was from 2024. I mean, it makes sense, it's old, it is AM4 after all. So, hopefully it will make some folks happy. I'll try to take some video after we install it at my brother-in-law's house. But that's about a 12-hour trip, so that's going to take me a couple of days, and then obviously I'll compile everything here, maybe throw up a short or two, if possible. Hey folks, Jay the Caffeinator here at the end. I wasn't able to make the drive to Ohio to personally deliver this to my brother-in-law. I had some work that came up. We had to shift to a 24-hour coverage. So the leftovers PC is done. It only had 3 pieces left, but it's going to get shipped up to my brother-in-law. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment below if you want. Caffeinator out.